my palette ranking for 2026 so far. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I'm going to be sharing the palette ranking for all of the eyeshadow palettes that I tried so far. I like to do this twice a year, once around the midway point and then once again towards the end of the year, once I know which palettes I've tried. And today we're going to be ranking everything from the first half of this year. So these are all the eyeshadow palettes I tried between January and June, and there's 32 of them in total. There's one eyeshadow palette that's missing because I did already declutter it, but that was still okay, but not one of the better ones, so I already gifted it to a friend. Starting with numbers 32 to 21 then, I have the two things that you saw me review in my June review that were from the UK drugstore. I had high hopes for these when I purchased them. They are cheap and cheerful. They are by Troublemaker and Berry M. This is the Berry M Pot Twist in the shade Cookie, and this is the Sound Check palette from Troublemaker. These are both at the bottom, not because these are bad eyeshadows per se, they just didn't really give me what I wanted. I feel I have other things in my makeup collection, even at this price point, that I feel perform better. So I get to be picky because I try a lot and because I have a lot. But these are the type of things that I think you're gonna do really well with if you don't have that much makeup yet, or maybe if you're just looking for something quick for travel. Then for instance, this Pot Twist thing from Berry M is actually really cute. The shade Cookie is this really pretty brown tone. So what I'm really missing here is a good crease shade, and then the two shimmers in here are also quite light and they're all quite soft and satiny. What I have found now that I've used this palette a couple of times is that it looks really great for travel, but there's only a magnet keeping this in place. The rest of the palette can just twist open of its own accord. So the thing isn't really sturdy enough. I think that if I were to throw this into a makeup bag willy-nilly, it could very easily come undone and then the shades could get scratched. But I like the idea of this little bento box, and Berry M at the UK drugstore isn't going to break the bank per se. So this is a beautiful little thing, and like I said, I don't want to knock it, but it is at the bottom because I've just tried so many other things that I like better. And similarly with the Troublemaker Sound Check palette, this looked like a really beautiful color story, and that's why I picked it up. This is under £5 at the UK drugstore. Troublemaker Beauty is now available here in the Netherlands as well. They just made its way into the Dutch drugstore too. So I'm not sure if they're doing these palettes. This brand is very, very young in the way the overall look of the brand, like what they give off. It's all these really bright colors. It's very sort of Gen Alpha coded almost, not even Gen Z anymore. It's even younger than that. But I like the cool tone color story this has. There are some beautiful shades in here, but this again, like the Berry M1, the quality of it was a bit chalky, a little bit sheer, a little bit, like I said, I've just tried so many other things, even from the drugstore, that I like better. Things from MUA I feel are about as affordable as this one is, and they do have better payoff and a better formula than I feel this has. So this is really beautiful, but I think that at some point in time, I'm just going to give this to my niece. If she can have a little bit more makeup in her life from her parents, then this is the person I would gift this to. This is really great beginner makeup. It's not bad, but it's also not going to like make you scared. Like some of the indie stuff I have coming up later in this ranking, if you're a beginner in makeup, you may not want to start there because it takes a bit of a learning curve to get those shades to not look like you've got a bruise on your face. These things are very sort of beginner friendly, very much, you know, dipping your toe into makeup kind of vibes. Next up in the ranking, I have the two eyeshadow palettes that were sent to me by Lethal Cosmetics. They sent these to me, I think already in December, but both of them came to me in January. I like their singles better. I'm not gonna lie, I just did a video with the singles that they sent me for building a BYOP. That's something that I've rated very highly from the brand for years, and I still do. There's a reason why I hadn't tried too many Lethal eyeshadow palettes, because I had those singles and I like those better. And I feel that the quality of the palettes isn't the same as the singles. So I'm going to stick to the singles with Lethal unless they want to send me something else. I did really enjoy the Serpentine color story a lot, and also the SpongeBob palette. I don't like that this has this really finicky lock. I just don't. But in here you get some really fun, bright, colorful, like tropical shades. It was a lot of fun to play with. If you like fun, colorful makeup, then this is a good palette, but I felt that, again, compared to other indie brands I've tried, the formula of these is a little bit on the drier side, so it takes a little bit more time to build it up, especially the mattes. The shimmers were beautiful, but there's nothing like multi-chrome or super special in here. And I feel like, again, a lot of the things that are still coming up are miles ahead of what these palettes have to offer. And that's the thing I feel with Lethal. I feel they do that in their singles collection, but in the palettes that they do, at least the ones I've tried, and these are the only 2 Lethal palettes I've tried personally, they don't really seem to do the interesting things that I know they can do. And then the Serpentine, like I said, really interesting color story. I will definitely keep this in my makeup collection because I don't have anything like it. I like the murky sort of venomous greens with the reddish purples and then these cooler toned neutrals on the other side of the palette. Really, really pretty, easy to mix and match, but same thing as with the SpongeBob. Texture-wise, I wasn't a huge fan. Some of these shades needed quite a bit of building up. They felt a little bit chalky. And for how much these retail, I believe both of these palettes retail for around the 50-55 euro mark. I feel you can find other indie brands that do a much better formula, in my opinion. Maybe if you like a drier formula, you might like this better. Hey-ho. But there's always that caveat. This is just based on my personal preferences for sure. But the Lethal ones, like I said, I just like their singles better. And this was sent to me in PR by MONOLITH. This is the Wicked Widow Beauty Rocky Horror Show palette. Beautiful, yes, but I did not pick this out myself. And that's also one of the reasons why this is ranked so low. I would not have purchased this with my own money. When this was launched, I told you in my new makeup releases how this wasn't a color story I was interested in. Now that I've tried it, I do like it better than I had anticipated. I do really like these blues and purples in the middle. But these pinks, not so much. There's a yellow tone gold, and then these grays are quite dark. Beautiful shades in here. Yes, I really rate the Wicked Widow Beauty eyeshadow formula for sure. But this isn't really my color story, so I know I won't be playing with this all that much. This is one of those things where I'm like, you know, the past couple of launches, MONOLITH has given me a code, and then I can just like order from the website what I want to try, and I feel that that's the way that I prefer to do things much better, because with this I'm like, I can test it out, but I'm already, like, I know I'm not that interested in it, so that's also why it ends up this low in the ranking. Has nothing to do with the quality of the eyeshadow, more so my personal preference. And then the top part of this part of the ranking, so from numbers, I don't know, like 26 until 21, it's a lot of Viseart. But I also have some other things in here. I decided to buy myself an Anthemy eyeshadow palette. Oh, this way around. Here's the front. This is beautiful Sea Beauty. This is a brand I hadn't tried before, and I believe this is their Black Light Butterfly eyeshadow palette. You essentially get these brighter pops of color with like lighter neutrals and then these murkier, grungier, sort of warmer tone type of shades. There's a mix of both cool and warm in here, some really beautiful multi-chromes. But when I compare this to other Sea Beauty brands that I've tried, I do think that this is a formula that, for how expensive it is one of the more expensive things from Sea Beauty that I've tried so far. It's nothing special. Like, I can get this kind of look with Sea Beauty brands that are more affordable than this. So then why would I spend this much money on it? You know what I mean? Beautiful, yes, I will definitely keep this around. I can definitely get some beautiful looks out of it. I love that this darkest shade is a navy and not a black. So it does do some really interesting things in the color story, but I feel that I've tried other Sea Beauty things, as you will see from my top 10, that I just like a whole lot better. And similarly, Woeful Whimsy by Unearthly and Andromeda, I believe the creator is called. This is a beautiful pastel color story, but again, not something I would have picked out for myself. This was sent to me in PR as well, and it does have something a little bit more interesting than other pastel palettes have, so that's why it's not ranked super low. Because these grays are so beautiful. These two gray shimmers make the palette. And when I just look at this at face value, I'm like, this is not really my kind of palette. We get two like shimmering whites, and we get a matte white and a matte black. Those aren't the kind of shades that I necessarily gravitate towards, but we do get something neutral to sort of like pop into a crease and to play around with. Same with like a gray matte that I could use in the crease, but I could of course also use all the colorful mattes in the crease. So there is a little bit of room to play with, and I do like it. What I would be Missing though, if this was my only pastel eyeshadow palette in my collection, would be a pastel yellow, because that is not something that we have in this palette. Rather than the matte white, I would have liked a, oh, the matte white is right here. I would have liked a pastel yellow, and instead of the black, I would have liked a darker chocolate brown. That would have made the palette better for me, but that's just the way it goes. Because I just have so many notes, it's in this part of the ranking. I could rank these in any position, but these are the next ones up until like number 21. And it's all Viseart palettes that I've tried in the past year. There's only one Viseart palette that I've tried recently that does deserve a higher spot. We all know I love the Viseart formula. I just really, really rate them really highly. The reason why these are in this bottom part of the ranking are their color stories. Some of these are incredibly similar to things I already have, or they are similar to things that they already did in their lineup. So did we need all of them? No. Do I need all of them in my makeup collection? Exactly no, I don't, but at this point, I already said it in a different video, I'm just taking one for the team with Viseart and just testing them all out so you know what to get and what not. So I am going to do in the next month or so, I think in August, I've planned to do an overview of all of my Viseart palettes. So we're going to chat all things Viseart in August when I do eyeshadow palette month. This is the Midsummer, really pretty. I did dig my nail in there when I swatched it, which is a pain. This already existed previously. I owned it when it was an 8-pan, so I'm glad to have it back in my life because there's a really beautiful duochrome in here, but this is quite warm and rosy and therefore not necessarily my favorite, but it does have that lovely Viseart formula that we know I love. Seraph Nocturnal, like I said, these could go into any position. I like most of these quite equally. This is green without being too green. It's more of a gold vibe. It didn't look very green on me, which is why I'm ranking it here. It's got some really beautiful shades, especially like this one right here, and then that taupey thing. Stunning, stunning shades, but it looks so similar. But it looks so similar to other things I already have by this brand that I'm like, is it really that unique? Did we need this? Maybe not. Then the Violet Nocturne, I believe this one was released together with the Seraph Nocturne. And this is really beautiful. It's sort of like a more muted version of the Violet Étendue or the other Nocturne palette that they did. They did something similar. Again, a really beautiful duochrome in here, but this one I feel is a little bit dry and therefore the duochrome doesn't show up as intensely on my lids as it does in a finger swatch, which is a bit of a shame. But there's some beautiful like muted, murky, purpley tones in here, and then mixed in with some warmer tone browns that aren't super warm toned. It's not as if this looks orange, it's more of a neutral vibe for me, but I think if you have a very cool undertone, this is going to look warmer toned than you might expect. And my favorite of these four, I think, is going to be the Praline. I love this palette. It's all browns, but we all know I like a good brown. This is such a good basic palette if you don't have one yet. Like I said, did I need this in my life? No. I have plenty of basic eyeshadow palettes. We all know that. But this is beautiful. I really like the look of this. So this eyeshadow palette, the Praline Étendue is what it's called. It just comes in basic black packaging. Is really lovely indeed, and it's got that Viseart formula that we know we love. We are moving into the top 20 then. I know that 32 palettes may sound like a lot. Oh, I skipped one. I forgot to mention the one that I don't have physically, of course, but somewhere after the Troublemaker and the Pot Twist, I would rank my MUA Cherry Kiss palette. I'll pop the pictures up on the screen right here, but the Cherry Kiss is a really beautiful color story. I just have found that there is something similarly from the drugstore that I like better, that gives me the look that I thought the Cherry Kiss was going to give me. The Cherry Kiss looked pretty orange on me, which is why I'm ranking it so low. But it is the MUA formula I know I love, and I did... Where did I put that? But I did have another MUA palette that I bought at the same time that's going to show up higher in this ranking, so... We all know I love the MUA formula. It's really cheap and cheerful at the drugstore, but gives you really high payoff. The Cherry Kiss color story just wasn't quite my vibe. We're moving on into 20 till, I think, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So 22, 16, and then we're going to finish off the top 20, and then we'll do the top 10. Number 20 is going to be my Cleric palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is beautiful. I tested it out for you in June, and this was sent to me in PR by MONOLITH. I picked it out using one of my gift vouchers. Really, really beautiful. By the way, I'm affiliated with MONOLITH. Did I already mention that? I don't think I already mentioned it in this video. I have a code. They have a new drop tomorrow, but the codes are always deactivated when they have a new drop. So the code will be active again from Wednesday onwards, and then you get 5% off of your next order. So just know that that's the case. And that same code that I pop on the screen here, it's _Micah_5, also works on the Epic Beauty website, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But here's the Cleric palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. Really beautiful. It's got blues, it's got these whites, and then these like murky brown green sort of shades, and then these like cooler toned minty greens, you could say. They have a lot of gray to them. So it's not necessarily a fully cool toned color story, but it does give me like neutrals with a twist. You can mix and match these really well. I did two looks with it so far, but I already mentioned in my review that I can see so many different looks happening, and we all know I love the Fantasy Cosmetica formula as well. It's one of my favorite indie brands for that reason. The reason why I'm not ranking this any higher is just because I've tried so many other things that I like even better than I do this. There were definitely a couple of things once I was playing with it where I was like, I really love the blues at the bottom, and I love these two, but these two were a little bit difficult to get to show up. And like with the Woeful Whimsy, I don't need like a shimmering white and a matte white in the same palette. I just don't. Give me something different. Next up is a brand that I tried for the first time. So number 19 is Titanium Fox's Crying by the Horses. This brand is now also available through MONOLITH, but when I bought mine, I got it from their official website. And this palette is so, so beautiful. I picked it out because I wanted to try this brand, but none of the color stories that were out for like the past year or so really sparked my interest. So it's like, I'm gonna hold off until they do something that truly, truly interests me. And then they did this, and I was like, yep, I need to try it. We sort of have murky greens, cool tone purples, and then this row of warm tones at the top. So it's giving you quite a lot of things. What I didn't love in here is that this shimmer just keeps breaking. There's another fleck of it right here on the mirror. Do you see that? This one keeps losing pigment. It just keeps losing things. I don't know what's going on there. Really, really smooth, very creamy shimmers. Really beautiful. But it was especially the mattes where I felt it kind of underperformed. So the shimmers are really beautiful, but a little bit crease prone on me, which is another reason for ranking it in the number 19 spot. And now that I've tested it out, I know what this formula gives me, and I like it, but it's not as if I now feel like I need to go and run out and buy every single Titanium Fox's eyeshadow palette on the planet. It's good, it's great, but it's not a favorite. Sorry. Number 18 then is the Death Tarot palette from Cosmic Beauty. This is beautiful. We had a huge influx of these cooler tone palettes with a pop of red, and you know, if it's a cool tone color story with a pop of anything, I'm gonna try it. So I do like this, but as far as this pop of red goes, I've tried other things from C Beauty brands that I think are far better. So those are gonna be ranked higher, but I do really like this. It's beautiful. Again, Cosmic Beauty, really good indie brand, one of my favorites for sure. I have so many of their palettes. I actually had to declutter a couple that I just wasn't that interested in anymore. So I definitely had to cull my collection because it was just overgrowing in my makeup drawers. And I'm just going to keep the ones that I truly, truly love. We essentially get some like grays with blues. There's a little bit of warmth here in the middle. Then we've got these like reddish tones, and then these like navy purpley things with a black sort of thing to round it together. The one gripe I had with the two reds is that this is orange and this is pink. Make it make sense. One of the reasons why this is ranked here, because I felt the undertones of the reds didn't quite match, and therefore it didn't look the way I wanted it on my face. Because I have a cool to neutral undertone, if something has that pink in it, if it's a red, it's gonna show up strawberry pink on me. And it doesn't look that red. So the other one, because it's got this orange flip in the shimmer, it didn't really come together for me for that reason. Next up, number 17 is going to be the Blend Bunny Haunt Me. We all know that Blend Bunny is one of the best eyeshadow formulas in the game at the minute. The only reason why I don't rate Blend Bunny as high as other people is because the color stories are always a bit for me. This is one of the more successful ones for me, I have to say. But with Blend Bunny, every single palette just has so many dark shades. In this one, it doesn't look that bad because they aren't in the same row. But my one thing with Blend Bunny, because this is essentially a quad every single time, I just feel I get too many repeat shades, and this could be so much more curated. Of course, it doesn't go with the aesthetic of the brand. I totally know why they get it. I totally get why they do this, but for me and my makeup needs, I don't need this many shades to create the looks that I did with this palette. It also doesn't, like, I know that this is used by many very creative people, the brand is, and their palettes are loved by drag queens and makeup artists, and that's their target audience. I'm not their target audience, I feel. But with this as well, I'm like, did I need all of this? Like, for me, it just kind of feels safest to just stick to the quads and call it a day, which I believe when I tried this eyeshadow palette for the first time, that's exactly what I did. Here again, in this red quadrant, we get two things that essentially pulled purple on me. Then I get this matte red, and then this is a coral. For as red as it looks in the pictures, I felt it could be more matte, like more red. I love the fact that we essentially get like a row of grays, but they all have a different undertone. These are a little bit more brown leaning. These are a little bit more blue leaning. These are a little bit more green leaning. And then this is your warmer brown quad. You have those reds, and then you have a essentially gray, sort of black and white smoky eye kind of thing. Really beautiful. If I just like leave this out, it's a really good cool tone color story. And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. But there are definitely notes that I would have if I had to redo this. I would change up quite a bit, which is why it's ranked in the number 17 spot. Number 16 then is the Old Soul from Glaminatrix. This is beautiful. It is an excellent, excellent palette. Again, a couple of things I would change here. I would not put something this like orange in this otherwise quite muted color story. I just think that that could have been a different shade. I love the bottom row. I love the rosy tones we get in here. It does so many really wonderful things. It's really stunning, like taupey, silvery shimmer. Chef's kiss. Really beautiful. Essentially what you're getting is a row of cool tones, a row of like warmer tones, and then a row of rosy tones. That's the way I kind of feel about this palette. Really beautiful, excellent quality. Mine did come a little bit shattered. This was sent to me in PR, as well as the Haunt Me and the No, did I purchase those with my own money? I keep forgetting. I think I bought the Blend Bunny and the Cosmic Beauty ones with my own money, and then this one was sent to me in PR by Monolith. I remember that. And then this one I had to repress because it got a little cracked and a little fragile. But this is a really intense black. It's one of the blackest blacks I've ever found. Again, would have liked this to be like a dark brown. I don't love black eyeshadow. And here is again the matte white that we get in every single palette. Make it make sense. This is really beautiful. It's excellent quality from Glaminatrix for sure. But like I said, I've tried other things that I liked better. So let's move into numbers 15 to 11. And in the number 15 spot, I have the Festive Elegance from DD Signature for you. This is one that I believe I paid for with my own money. I did get it through Monolith. It's why I'm so confused, because yes, they sent me some things, but if there are things that are interesting to me that they either didn't send me or that I didn't have a gift voucher for, I just wait and buy it with my own money. I still use the website myself organically as well. This is one of their Christmas releases. And you may be wondering, Micah, why did you test out a Christmas palette in March? Because that's when I tested this out. It's because it took a while for it to get to me, and then with Black Friday, I usually have a little bit of extra makeup to play with, so that's why this sort of was put on the back burner. But this was beautiful. This is really wonderful. I would love to try some more DD Signature if they do a eyeshadow color story that really appeals to me. I was afraid this wasn't going to work for me because I feel DD Signature is very much aimed at people with a deeper skin tone than mine. So I wasn't sure whether it was going to work, because sometimes I find that especially the mattes tend to just be too intense for me to really make them look beautiful and blended. But in here, the fact that we get these two really beautiful shades is just chef's kiss. We get something with a purple undertone. We get a brown, just a standard dark brown. Some beautiful green tones in here. The green tones are life. And some actual reds that did really perform on me and looked really nice in like a more warm tone kind of vibe. And this green shimmer, the sparkle in it is outrageous. So that's why this is ranked in the number 15 spot. I liked it, but color story wise, this isn't like my jam per se. There are things I've tried that I like better. And then this I had such high hopes for. It's still ranked quite high because I do really love the palette. But number 14 is going to the Silver and Cold for Diveroon Cosmetics. I remember quite clearly that I bought this with my own money because when it dropped like randomly mid-month, and I just bought it the minute I had budget for it. So I do remember purchasing this with my own money, but again, I got it through Monolith. And this, it's just not as gray toned as it looks. I feel the black background makes these eyeshadows look more desaturated than they actually are. They are simply brighter than, at least on my skin tone, than what they look like. Like, it looks like everything has this really beautiful gray undertone. I felt that that wasn't really the case. The purples in here are my favorites. I like the greens, I like the blues, I like all the shimmers we get in here. Again, it has some really excellent things, really beautiful formula. The Diveroon Cosmetics Magnetic Mineralia was my favorite palette of 2025 for a reason, and I was hoping that this could top it or match it somehow, but I feel it isn't. And then we have Nomad in the number 13 spot. This is the Christmas Market one, the Christmas Market Germany. It says on the front, the Christkindlmarkt. Okay. This is your standard, like, classic Christmas color story. You have your Christmas reds, your Christmas greens, and what I like in this, I don't know whether anyone has pointed this out before, but this is matte, and this is matte, and then everything else is a shimmer, but it's sort of like a shape of a Christmas tree. I thought that was such a fun detail. We get some beautiful greens in here, some neutrals. We get these like frosty blues and then some warmer tones over on this side. Again, a reddish tone, but I would want a red tone shimmer in here just to have this red not be like floating in thin air. So that's why I'm like, But we all know I love the Nomad formula. I think this is a very unique color story. And even though it's your like standard Christmas sort of color story, and I realized when I was trying to do like an overview of like really good palettes for Christmas, that I didn't have too many that were like traditional Christmas color stories. That's why I got this one. It's why I got the Diveroon or the DD Signature one, because I just felt like I needed some color stories that were true Christmas, like just the standard colors. And what I like so much about the box, which is why I keep Nomad boxes. I don't keep any boxes for my makeup, save for the Nomad ones. Because it's like a little advent calendar. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's got the little like things that you could rip out. Like a little box of chocolates that you get around Christmas time. Really lovely. So that's a lovely detail, and we all know I love the Nomad formula. It's one of my favorites, especially for beginners, because it's so easy to build them up. Whereas a lot of indie brands that I'm going to be mentioning still, and also some of the Sea Beauty stuff I have for you, it's very opaque, very boom kapow pigment in your face. I feel Nomad is the best one to sort of ease your way into makeup. It's very blendable, very buildable, easy to use. I feel whenever I use a Nomad palette, it's foolproof. It just makes it so easy to use makeup. Number 12 is the Stardust palette by MUA. I promised you there would be another MUA palette in here somewhere, and this is the one that I kept. This is the Cool Tone color story that I picked up when I was in London in November, I think. And this has a really beautiful, like you can see the shine on that duochrome here. Some really nice, like cooler tone, like purpley undertone browns. This is such a beautiful addition to the MUA line. Some of the ones that I bought previously seem to have been discontinued. The enchantment is no longer around, and this seems to have replaced it, and I really like it. And these are £3, which is like $5 at the UK drugstore. I can find MUA online on Notino. So if you are looking for these, and you are in Europe and you have access to Notino, because I do believe they do like websites for like loads of different countries. I believe they are based in Poland officially, or Czech Republic, somewhere around there. But they do a lot MUA. And number 11 then is the Yin and Yang palette. This is the Bella Beauté Bar and Freya collab that I reviewed for you in June. This was sent to me in PR by Monolith again. And this is a wonderful color story. And I said it in my review, and I'm going to repeat it here. This is such a beautiful color story that just based on the color story alone, I want to rank this in my top 10. The reason why it's not currently in my top 10 is because A, I've tried other things that I just like better, and the thing that was a major letdown for me were the shimmers. If you look at this palette, it has these really beautiful, whimsical shimmers, especially this one. It's a holographic, that when the light hits it, it doesn't just look silver, but it has this rainbow sparkle to it. Same thing with this one here. This one, I love this duochrome. It's this very deep sort of Beatles scales kind of vibe. Really beautiful. My main issue with a lot of the shimmers in this palette is that once I apply it to the lids, because of how creamy they are, I have to use fingers, and it's almost as if the warmth of my fingers compacts the pigment of the shimmer so much that that really beautiful whimsical sparkle that you see in the pan completely disappears. It's almost as if it's too packed together. So what I've been using to make it look a little bit more shimmery and like fun is that I had to use like a dense, like fluffy but firm blending brush to sort of buff the shadow in once applied to the lids to get that sparkliness to come back, which is a step I don't normally have to do, not with Bella Beauté bar palettes or other holographic shimmers, as you will see in a sec. So that's why this one is just outside of the top 10. This is top tier. I really rate it highly. I didn't need the cake liner in here either, which is another reason why it's not a top 10 shade. Like the split pan here, the black and white, which of course, if it's a yin and yang palette, I totally get why we get it. Totally fits the theme, but I don't use cake liners, and I don't really have the skills to use it either. I'm gonna be very honest here, and I also don't have the lid space to really use it. I have a lot of like dents and stuff around my lids, so graphic liner is just not a thing. I could use them as bases if I want to make anything a little bit more smoky, but the eyeshadow in here is already light enough and dark enough that I don't really need that to have those shadows to like show up that way. But beautiful color story. There's just a couple of things that I feel the other things that are in my top 10 just do better. And in my top 10, we are kicking things off with, I think, one of the best cool toned eyeshadow palette launches in recent years. It's by Gloss Gods. It's the Starry Skies. I actually decluttered my Natasha Denona Xenon because I now own this. Need I say more? This does have a holographic shimmer in here as well. Really beautiful. It's grays with blues and like grayish brown shimmers. Nothing in here is ever too dark. Nothing in here is ever too warm. It's a beautiful all cool tone color story with a slight pop of something blue. That is what I have to say here. No white, but we do get a matte black. It's not super like intense black, which I like. Again, I would have preferred a dark brown, not gonna lie. But this is beautiful. I really enjoyed this. And with the Xenon from Natasha Denona, I felt I didn't get a good enough crease shade, and with this I do. So that's why this is one of the best things I've tried in recent years when it comes to cool tone color story. That was number 10. Number 9 is going to be the Paris Étoile from Viseart. So this is now called the Paris Nuit Étoilée. Before it was an 8 pen. I still have the 8 pen for this. Which when I do my little Viseart comparison, I will show it to you. But this is what it looks like. It's essentially a smoky, neutral sort of color story with a teal and a purple. So it's a different take on a smoky eye, I feel. And in here, we just get a couple of lighter things because the original 8 pen was quite dark, which is why I couldn't really get away with it, which is why I like this so much, because I feel that the additions that we get in this eyeshadow palette really makes sense, and it makes it work so much better for me. Did we need 3 beiges at the top though? Because whether I use this, or the one here on the end, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So I would have liked a lighter shimmer in here. So again, not perfect, but I do really like it. And again, like I said several times already in this video, it has the Viseart formula I love, and I feel color story wise, this is one of the more unique Viseart palettes on the market. So that's why it's ranked here. Number 8 then is this guy. This is from the drugstore, at least I picked it up from the UK drugstore. It's by Morphe. This is the Cyber Chrome palette. I managed to film a short doing a look with this, so if you, maybe I can put it up on the screen here, or I can pop it in the description box down below. Essentially, you're getting 6 cool tone shades in here. I was afraid this was going to be too warm toned. It wasn't when I put it on my face. I was really happy. And you get these like molten sort of melting kind of shades. Really beautiful, very impactful. I really enjoyed the look that came out with this. They now do these as 3-pan, like little trios, and those intrigue me as well. So if I ever find myself at a Superdrug and they have them and they have the Cool Tone one in stock, I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy Morphe eyeshadow. I mean, as you can see, I have plenty of eyeshadow already, so I don't know when I will next find myself a Morphe eyeshadow palette. But if I encounter it, like naturally just shopping around, I will pick it up for sure, because this is a lovely formula. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing with it. I love those chromy sort of shades in the middle. This was excellent. Another thing that was excellent, remember what I mentioned about the Cherry Kiss and that I had something better? This guy. The Deep Velvet from Catrice. This came out, I think, early this year. This is the just called the Deep Velvet eyeshadow palette. Sometimes these have a different name as well. This is from the range of eyeshadow palettes that Catrice has been doing for a little while now. The formula of these is very sort of satin though, so that is something you do need to bear in mind. It's why it's in the number 8 spot, but this was so beautiful. And where the Cherry Kiss was so warm that it looked really orange on me, this is a little bit more purpley neutral leaning, so for me it just worked so much better. It's essentially a really good burgundy color story from the drugstore, and that's something I don't have a lot yet. So yay for Catrice doing something that's under like what, €6 and still pretty affordable and therefore a little bit more unique, which is why it's ranked this high. That was number 7, and this is number 6, and here is the Starcore eyeshadow palette from Cheeryep. So I have quite a few of my Sea Beauty eyeshadow palettes that I tried this year in this like top 5, top 10, because I just like them so much. This is a collab they did with Freya. It's very sort of dark and grungy and whimsical on one side, and then this is a little bit more like daytime fairy tale princess, you could say. It's got an entire galaxy of shadows. I'm not sure if you can see in this like purpley thing here how it shifts. This one as well has also a bit of a shift. This like green to pink has a shift. And I feel that with Cheeryep, depending on which palette you buy, they do have different price points. I get mine from YESSTYLE mainly. A couple of them I was able to find on MONOLITH, but I don't believe MONOLITH still stocks them. And you can also, I think, find the brand at Look Healthy Store, I think it's called, or Sea Beauty Mall. Do note though that if you are in the EU from July 1st, the laws have changed. And if you order anything from outside of the EU, they now have to put €3 on every product type. So it's not per product, but if you like buy 5 eyeshadow palettes, then I think it's like just €3. But if you buy an eyeshadow palette, a lipstick, and an eyeliner, then you have to pay like €3 per item. I'm not sure whether that's right, but that's how I understood it. I do have a couple of YESSTYLE orders coming in the next couple of weeks, so we're gonna see how much extra I'm gonna have to pay when those products come in. I'm not entirely sure yet, but yeah, I mainly get these from China, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful color story in here, really beautiful quality, impactful, insanely pigmented. Not my favorite sort of color story per se, but I do think it's really unique and different and a little bit grungy, and I love playing with these and just experimenting as well. Freya is a creator who I follow on TikTok from time to time, and she does this very sort of layered effect. So I always try to mimic it. I'm not always the best at it, but this one is a little bit crazy, but a good one. Number 5 is going to be the other Cheeryep palette that I tried this year. This is the Dreamcatcher. This is a little bit more my vibe, but know that they also do these really grungy things. This is such a good, like, neutral with a pop of baby blue, really, really beautiful, more cooler tone color story with some neutrally browns with the pops of baby blue on this side, and then these like rosy but really soft rosy brown things that are a little bit pinky leaning, really pretty. Again, some like duochromes in here, nothing too crazy multi-chrome or anything like that. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmers in here, which is why this one is also a little bit less expensive than the Starcore is. I feel with Cheeryep, the more shimmers you get and the more special shimmers you get, the higher the price point of the palette is going to be. But this one is therefore a little bit cheaper. This is really soft, very whimsical looking, which is what I love. This you can just whip on any day of the week and it's gonna look really, really beautiful. And because of those very soft shades, I was afraid that maybe like with some K-beauty brands that it doesn't show up. I've definitely tried some of these like neutral palettes with a pop of baby blue in the past that didn't quite come together for me. With this one, it's stunning. Number 4, my Shellwe Makeup and Ghoul in Japan collab. This is Nocturnal Flame. It's not quite red, it's actually more of an orange tone, but this is insane. I had tried Shellwe Makeup in the past and I liked it okay, but I wasn't super impressed until I tried this. It's essentially cool tones with this like warm toned element and then these like oranges instead of red, and I really like that this orange has this like green sort of vibe to it almost, making it go with these like green blues that you get in here as well. So, so beautiful. The brown, this brown has like a, do you see that flip? It's pretty similar to the very deep shade in the Bella Beauté Bar Yin and Yang palette. That one I feel is more purple, brown, murky, and this is brown, red, green, murky. So beautiful. You can do a very basic look, like just with the 2 rows, but you can mix and match these. There are so many options with this, and the shimmers in here, 50% shimmer, 50% mattes. We all know I love that. I get a crease shade I can use, like actually several ones you could say. If you want to go super bright and vibrant, you can do that. You can go very muted and grungy with this. You can keep it very basic and neutral if you want even. There's so many options and it's only 10 pence. I love it, and this is insane. It's so impactful, and I believe Shellwe Makeup does 2 styles of palette. They do this is the full size, but they also do like a more travel friendly version. And I think the smaller size one are like 25 euros and these are like 35. That's pretty reasonable for an eyeshadow palette with this impactful type of eyeshadow, I find, but that's just me. And then I did buy this one myself through MONOLITH. This is by Kryptein Cosmetics. This is another C Beauty brand. And this, to me, is just the ultimate of all of these like gray with pops of red color stories that I've tried. This is what I want all of them to do. You get these like purpley tones here, you get these gray tones here, and then the reds in the middle. And these reds are insane. These are a little bit more like on the brown leaning side almost, but these go together with the purples. The only downside to this is that quite a few of the shimmers do have a warm flip to them. So the mattes all are nicely cool toned, but especially in the shimmers you do have a little bit of warmth sometimes. But I really didn't mind it. This was very impactful, really intense, really, really beautiful. This is number 3. I was like, is it number 2? No, this is number 3. But the Kryptein Cosmetics I thought was really cool, and this is such a unique color story. It's unlike anything I have in my makeup collection. Number 2, and this may come as a surprise, is the Epic Beauty Jewels of Eternity. This was sent to me in PR. I'm going to be very honest with you, but this is insane. Remember what I said about the Yin and Yang palette and with holographic shades that don't look that holographic anymore once they're on the lids? This doesn't have that issue. So I know it can be done. I know it can be done. You can make a beautiful color story. This is very sort of jewel toned. We all know I love blues, greens, and purples. And yet when they sent this to me and I opened it up, I wasn't like overly excited to play with this. I was like, is this really for me? And then I played with this and then I was just blown away by the formula. There's a touch of warmth in this sort of row. And then you have these purples here. You get some greens and blues in the bottom. And it's insane. Do you see this? That holographic shimmer, it shows up on the lid like this. This like mixed shade is really interesting to play with. This is so beautiful. We have another like multi-chrome in here with like blue, green, and purple all in one shade. Really beautiful, very emollient. And like I said with the Anthemy, it was also very, no, which one was it? Titanium Foxes, that was the brand, where it's very creamy, very emollient, and very crease heavy. With these, no such thing. They can be picked up with a brush. I can blend them. They stay all day, yet are super impactful. This has really taken my eyeshadow game to the next level, and I'm really, really happy with this one. I can't wait to see what they do with this brand. If you don't know, Epic Beauty is owned by the people from MONOLITH, but they just started their new brand. This is the only item for sale so far. They do have a separate website for Epic Beauty as well, so you can get it through MONOLITH or through the Epic Beauty website, and my code, the same code, works on both websites. And then my number one eyeshadow palette of the year, can you guess what it is? Bella Beauté Bar Crystallize. I think this is an amazing palette. I do think it came out at the end of 2025, and I didn't get to try it until like March. But this, it's such a good, interesting take on a cooler toned color story, but make it interesting. Like, it's not just your boring grays that everybody else does. It's like a colorful, cool toned color story with whimsy. This shade is insane. Let me see if I can show you. Of course it doesn't show up on camera. Can I swatch it? I didn't want to swatch too much here because I didn't want to... Wait, hold on. Do you see? It's like this very sort of whimsical sort of thing. It's so, so beautiful. I really, really dig that shade. The only shade that doesn't really go is this because it has a peachy flip. I wish they made that differently. But it doesn't have a black, and it has a really deep navy instead, which I think is so interesting. It's got a holographic shade here in the bottom. So many beautiful things to play with. So many fun mattes. This is the eyeshadow palette of the year so far. I'm sure that once we get to like fall, because usually fall is my favorite season, that's when all my favorite palettes come out. But the Crystallize palette from Bella Beauté Bar is really good, and it's one of the best things I've tried this year. So those are all of the eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to chat about with you guys. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video today. Thumbs it up if you liked it. We are heading into July, which is my birthday month. My birthday is on Monday, so I don't really have anything special planned. I'm just, I hope to go to Paris this weekend, if the trains are running, because there was a fire in a tunnel near Rotterdam where I live, and there is no trains currently, so I hope I can still go. I'm filming this a little bit in advance so that you have a bit of an idea, so I can have some videos going up that weekend, because I'm supposed to go there on Friday. So fingers crossed that I can go and celebrate my birthday a little early in Paris. That was the plan, so I really hope you enjoyed watching this one today, and I hope you want to stay tuned for all of the exciting things I have coming for you in July. Bye-bye.